Hey, what is up, everybody? I am here to give you my WWE Tribute to the Troops 2016 review. I'm sorry this video was late, but I was busy doing... No, actually, I fell asleep because I had been up all night watching Raw and SmackDown the night before, so I was sleeping. So I'm just getting a chance now to do the video. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Now, I am going to say this. I'm not going to go into this show with a lot of expectations because this is Tribute to the Troops is one of those shows where it's just like one of those feel-good, carefree shows where it's all about the troops, all the baby faces go over. There's not a lot of focus on storylines or anything like that. So that's kind of what's going on here. It's not meant to be one of those 5-star shows. So I'll probably come out liking the show for that reason. But we'll have to wait and see because it could suck. Okay, so we had JBL, Michael Cole, and Byron Saxton on commentary for this show. And Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon are backstage, and they say that tonight, the Raw and SmackDown Live are going to put their differences aside for the troops, pretty much. I thought it was a decent promo. Well, a decent segment. It was just kind of there. And then it shows a video package showing all the tribute to the troops moments, talking about how they've done it for years. They've actually said they've done it for 14 years, which I think is actually really nice. This is like one of the nicest shows like that the WWE's can do as part of like for the fans' sake to finally give something to the troops. So I think that's always a nice touch. And then Lillian Garcia sings the national anthem. I thought she did a pretty good job. I'm not gonna trash it too much. The one thing I don't like, and this is what I hate a lot about what sinners do, and she kind of over sins, if that makes sense, where she sends the brave and then she kind of overdoes it. So that's just what I think. But I thought she did a good job. I mean, I think she's a good sinner. I know it sounds like I'm saying sinner, but I can't say my ing words too well. And then Roman Reigns comes out to cut a promo because he's supposed to be like the big hero since he's the United States champion. And he comes out and he gets booed. That's pretty sad that he can't even get cheered in a military crowd on a Tribute to the Troops show. He's getting booed. That is pretty sad. But he comes out and talks about how he's proud, especially on nights like this, to be the United States champion. And he said that the real champions are the troops. And then Kevin Owens comes out and says that if there's one man that they should thank, it should be me because I've been carrying Raw on my back. And I am the longest reigning Universal Champion in WWE history. And then Roman Reigns says that you don't get it. Tonight it's not about you. It's about these men and women out here. And then Kevin Owens said, who fight for the country, And Kevin Owens says, well, I'm not from here. I'm from Canada. And he pretty much says that Canada's way better than the United States. And he says that he says that he's going to destroy Roman Reigns. He has no chance of beating him at Roadblock end of the line. And if Roman Reigns' United States title was on the line, then he would take the title from him and change it to the Canadian Championship, which got Owens a ton of heat. So I thought he was great here. He really did a good job of getting heat, and he actually got Roman Reigns over as the babyface he was supposed to. But I thought overall, Kevin Owens really did a good job. And then Roman Reigns says, well, why do we don't need to wait till Sunday. Why don't you come down here right now? So then Kevin Owens goes to come down there, and they're going to have a fight. But then Rusev and Lana come out, and Rusev says that Canada isn't great, but it's certainly a hell of a lot better than this United States. And he talks about how great Bulgaria is and how he's the only man that can have Lana. Well, Lana says that, and then Roman Reigns says, I feel sorry for you, or something like that. And then Rusev says that I'm going to come down there and crush you just like I crushed Enzo Amore on Raw. And Roman Reigns says, this ain't no little dog, this is the big dog. So Rusev and Owens are going to go out there and beat the crap out of Reigns, but before they can get in the ring, Big Cass comes out, and they both scale Owens and Rusev away. And then Mick Foley comes out and makes the main event a tag team match. Rusev and Kevin Owens versus Big Cass and Roman Reigns. I think that's going to be a solid tag team match. And that was really. I thought this whole promo segment was pretty good. I thought Owens was good. I thought Wayne's was pretty good out there. He definitely dragged once Rusev came out. I thought I thought that kind of made it boring a little bit, but because I thought the segment kind of started to drag, but I thought overall this was a fine segment. Okay, so we had a Fatal 4-Way WWE Raw Tag Team Championship #1 Contenders match. The Golden Truth versus the Shining Stars versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus Cesaro and Sheamus. This was a pretty good match here. Actually, I would say it was an okay match. It wasn't anything great, but it was okay. The Shining Stars get the heat on Goldust for a while, but then Gallows tags himself in, so per the rules, Gallows and Anderson are now the legal man, so the Shining Stars have to get out of the match. And they dominate Goldust, and then eventually Sheamus comes in the ring after Carl Anderson tries to cover Goldust, and Gallows kicks him in the head. Cesaro uppercuts Gallows. I believe Primo drop kicks Cesaro out of the ring. And Goldust scoop slams Primo. And R-Truth gets the hot tag at Epico, which kind of was weird because originally Carl Anderson was the legal man, so it didn't make any sense. But he starts going off on him. And then Cesaro tags R-Truth in, so Cesaro and Primo are the legal, or Epico are the legal men. And Cesaro starts going off on him with uppercuts. He dives on Gallows and Anderson, and he hits an uppercut while Epico's in like the 619 position in the ropes. And Cesaro hits a crossbody. He tries to cover him, but Epico kicks out. Then he goes for the swing, but Primo comes in the ring and Cesaro body drops him, tries to Cesaro swing him, and then Epico hits a backstabber on Cesaro, and Sheamus tags himself in and goes for a blow kick on Epico, but he ducks and Primo tries to roll him up for a win, but Sheamus kicks out, and then Sheamus blow kicks Primo for the win. So Cesaro and Sheamus are now going to be facing Cesaro and Sheamus are now going to be facing the New Day at Roadblock for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships, which has already happened, but, I'm talking as if it didn't happen yet. But, okay match, and really the only realistic choices to win was really Cesaro and Sheamus or Gallows and Anderson, so I was fine with this. It was an okay match. Okay, so next it shows more Tribute to the Troop video package. It shows Sasha Banks talking about how the soldiers give so much for the country, and it's unbelievable that they get to come here and visit them. And it shows pictures of like Renee Young visiting them, the Big Show, Dolph Ziggler, and he talks about how really they're the ones that are taking the risks. They think that we're taking the risks, and it actually shows Jason Jordan having like one of those suits on and one of the dogs chasing after him. I thought that was really cool. And Big Show talks about how much of an honor it is to meet them and all that. I forget, somebody talked about it. I'm trying to think of who it was. I think it was I don't forget who it was, but somebody said it's really a huge honor. They want to meet us, but it's really a huge honor for us to meet them. That might have been either Sasha Banks, but I forget who that was. And Roman Reigns says that this is like the only place that we'd rather be, and it shows Dolph Ziggler and Becky Lynch riding in the helicopter, Dean Ambrose and Renee Young riding in the helicopter, JBL taking some pictures with them, and they're showing them stuff for the Be a Star campaign, showing the New Day getting pictures with them, Charlotte, so it was really cool. And then we had and it also showed the Miz doing stuff with them. And then we had the Miz's Open Challenge, and he says that that he really feels really good right now because he's been able to be a huge inspiration to the shoulders for his performance in the Marine 4 and 5, which I thought was really good heel heat for him to say that. and he plugs Marine 5, and he talks about he says that he's going to be inspirational to them now by having an open challenge. And then Fluffy comes out, the comedian, I forget his real name, Gabriel something, and he says that and he makes fun of the Miz, talks about how he wears sparkly tights, and all that. And he said that he has someone that's going to give the Miz a beating, and it's Apollo Crews, which makes sense after the run-in on SmackDown Live the night before. And pretty much the Miz dominates really the whole match until Apollo Crews catches him into a belly-to-back suplex when he does his clothesline out of the corner. And then Fluffy takes selfies with Maurice, and then he takes a selfie with the Miz. And then when Apollo Crews go, he takes a selfie with him there. And then Crews rolls up Miz for the win. And afterwards, Crews and Fluffy take selfies together. And the Miz says that was a non-title match. So day 29 of his reunion tour continues. And then that was about it. Overall, though, the match was just okay. It really wasn't anything special. But I thought, obviously this is one of those matches where I can't prune it too much because it is in front of a military crowd in this part. And it is when it's supposed to be one of those feel-good lucky shows. So I'm not going to prune it too much. So that's kind of the case. Okay, so next we had holiday greetings, which was pretty much, members of the soldiers just saying hello to their families back at home, saying they'll be home for Christmas. Thought that was nice. And then we had Dolph Ziggler and American Alpha versus the Wyatt family. I thought this was a pretty good match here. The Wyatt family get the heat on Jason Jordan for a while. And then Dolph Ziggler gets the hot tag set on Randy Orton and starts taking him out. And one thing I found surprising is Randy Orton actually gets cheered. And I remember Randy Orton, when he was in the, I believe, the Marines. And he went, and I don't know what they call it. They have a term for it. But he pretty much left the Marines, left fighting his country. But yet he gets cheered in the tribute to the troops. It doesn't make any sense. But anyhow, that's just something I always find interesting. But anyhow, so then Dolph Ziggler gets the hot tag, starts going off on Orton. And then Bray Wyatt grabs his hair and Orton attacks him from behind. And the Wyatt family dominate Dolph Ziggler for a while. And then Chad Gable gets the hot tag and starts going off on Bray Wyatt. And he hits a German suplex on Wyatt, but Orton breaks up the pinfall. And then Jason Jordan takes out Orton. Luke Harper takes out Jordan with a super kick, and then Ziggler takes out Harper with a super kick, and then Wyatt ambushes Ziggler. And then Chad Gable tries to go off the top rope, but Wyatt counters into a Uranagi suplex. And then Bray Wyatt acts like he's going to go for the Sister Abigail, but then he tags in Orton, and he feeds Orton Gable so he can give him the RKO, which looked really sick, actually. I thought it looked like he broke Gable's neck. And afterwards, Orton gets the pinfall and gets the victory, and the Wyatt family go over. And overall, this was actually, like I said, a pretty good matchup here. And then afterwards, Bayley's backstage petting a dog. And Charlotte and Dana Brooke come up and just laugh. And Bayley says, "What are you doing? This is somebody from the Today Show. I forget her name. And she's trying to train with military dogs." And Dana Brooke says that she's just a mutt. And Bayley says, "Look, I don't..." And Bayley says, "Charlotte, I know we don't have anything in common, but I guess we both like hanging around dogs." And then Dana says, "Look, get ready for a match because I'm going to show you that my bulk is just as good as my bite." And then Bayley pats the dog and says, "I'm going to win this one for you," and hug and kiss you and all that stuff. And that was it. Overall, this was all pretty okay stuff, except the Dana Brooke part, because I hate Dana Brooke. Alright, so the next match was Bayley versus Dana Brooke with Charlotte ringside. And Charlie from the Today Show was out there with the dog. I forget the dog's name. Watching. And it was a bad match. I mean, what do you expect from a Dana Brooke match? It's just bad. I mean, like I said, I know I wasn't going to trash the show too much, but I can't help but trash this match. It sucked. One part, Bayley goes for the Bayley to belly, but Charlotte pulls Dana out of the ring. and then eventually Dana trips Bayley, and Dana starts gloating, and Bayley ends up hitting a drop kick, and then she tosses Dana into Charlotte, and then Bayley wins with the Bayley to belly, and that was that. Okay, so next we had another 6-man tag team match, this time with the Cruiserweights. It was TJ Perkins, Rich Swann, and Jack Gallagher versus Drew Gulak, the Brian Kendrick, and Tony Nese. Perkins and Swann were the only ones that got entrances, which I would have preferred that Kendrick got an entrance over Perkins, but, that's just me. Overall, this was a good match. I didn't think it was as good of a tag match as a 6-man of a tag as like the Wyatt family one, but this was still a good 6-man tag team match. In the beginning, everybody starts hitting dives on each other. Perkins dives on Kendrick, Swann dives on I think Gulak, and then Jack Gallagher starts praise, and he's act like he's gonna dive, but instead he just goes through the ropes and just hits a axe handle off the apron onto Tony Nese. I thought that was kind of cool. And then the heels get the heat on TJ Perkins for a while, but then he hits a crossbody on Nese. But he can't make it to the tag, so the heels continue to get the heat on him. But then Perkins is able to escape, and eventually Rich Swann gets the hot tag on Drew Gulak, and he starts going off on him, and then he hits the Rolling Thunder Splash. But Drew Gulak breaks it up. No, not Drew Gulak. Tony Nese breaks it up, and then everybody just starts taking each other out. Perkins and Swann took out Kendrick with a double super kick, but then eventually Rich Swann wins with a kick to the head on Drew Gulak. So overall, a solid 6-man tag. And then we had the afterwards. I don't think I have it in my notes, but Triple H and Stephanie McMahon go and visit, and light the wreath of a unknown U.S. soldier. And Triple H, and they talk about Stephanie McMahon was talking about how much the soldiers give and sacrifice, and she really she really saw that today. And Triple H says, you think you're ready for that type of emotion when you go there, but you really aren't ready for that type of emotion. So, yeah, I thought that was very emotional and very moving. I thought that was really cool. So, yeah, overall, this was all pretty good stuff. Okay, before I get to the main event, I need to talk about this. So the New Day was backstage, and they were talking about, how Cesaro and Sheamus are starting to gel well as a team, how they feel different since they've broken the Tag Team Championship record, and they've claimed that they're the greatest team of all time. And then the club comes up, and AJ Styles says that, they're the greatest team of all time. And he says that AJ Styles tells him that the WWE World Championship is what a real championship looks like. And and they talk about how they've been dominating all over the world. They've dominated all the way in Japan, and they've dominated in Canada. And Luke Gallows says that they're just about beating people up and making green. And then the Shield come up. Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns. And obviously they're not the Shield anymore, but it would be. But Seth Rollins says, "So you guys really think that you're the greatest stable of all time?" And Ambrose's like, "Can you believe that?" And then Reigns says, "No." And then that was it. But this was awesome. Like, this was like a knockout moment to see the New Day, who are one of the most over stables in WWE right now, have been the most entertaining. The Club, who dominated New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor everywhere, and the Shield, who dominated the WWE when they were together, all in the same room at the same time. And I really wish that we could have got like a Shield New Day match, or like a Shield Club match, or like a Club. Actually, technically we've gotten that. We did get the Club versus the New Day, but still, that'd be awesome though. But yeah, this was awesome. This was good shit. Alright, so now we have the main event. It's Big Cass and Roman Reigns with Enzo Amore ringside. Which I thought didn't make any sense that he was out there, since he had just gotten taken out a few weeks, about a week ago by Rusev. But since he was taped up, I actually didn't mind it, and I did think too they probably wanted him there just because he would pop the crowd. So, but they faced Rusev and Kevin Owens. And before the match, Rusev and Enzo Amore do the promo that they do at the beginning of every match. My name is Enzo Amore, and I am a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is Big Cass, and he's 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, realest guys in the room, how you doing? And then Big Cass talks about how they're going to how they're going to turn Owens and Rusev red, white, black, and blue after this match, and they're going to do it for everybody fighting for the country, like the Navy, how you doing? The Army, how you doing? The Coast Guard, how you doing? You get the point. And there's only one word to describe you, and I'm gonna spell it out for you. S-A-W-F-T. Soft. You know, that was the promo. I just said the entire promo. And this was a good tag team match, but one of those predictable main event tag team matches you see sometimes. The heels dominate Roman Reigns in the beginning, and then Roman Reigns starts to make a comeback. He hits a apron drop kick on Rusev, and then lays out Owens. And then the heels get the heat again on Roman Reigns. And then eventually Big Cass gets the hot tag, starts going off on everybody. But then Lana blindsides Enzo Amore, tosses him into the steel steps, and this distracts Big Cass. And Rusev hits his kick, because it's really not a super kick. And Owens hits a frog splash, tries to get the pinfall, but Big Cass kicks out. And then he tags in Roman Reigns, and Owens tags in Rusev. And Reigns lays out Rusev with a Samoan drop, hits Owens with the Superman punch, and then Rusev tries to roll him up, but Reigns fights out of it and hits a spear for the win. And that was the main event. Like I said, it was an okay main event, but a predictable main event. But still, it was an okay main event. Alright, so afterwards, on YouTube, you can go find this. I made sure to remind myself to go watch this. Roman Reigns, Big Cass, and Enzo Amore are still in the ring, and Roman Reigns has a speech talking about, you know, thanking the troops for everything that they do, kicking their ass, sticking through it. And it was actually a good speech. Roman Reigns actually was, when he's being himself, he can talk on the mic pretty well. He was actually, this was Roman Reigns talking, not the character that they have talked. So, this was good. And then that was it. So overall, tribute to the troops. I thought, like I said, I wasn't going to go into the show judging it too harshly, because if this was like on like a Raw or a SmackDown, I probably would trash this stuff. But like I said, tribute to the troops is supposed to be one of those carefree shows where you don't really focus on the booking, you don't focus on other fans, you just focus on the troops. They're putting on the show for them. This isn't really a show where storylines are going to be advanced. There was some advancement in storylines between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. You know, Big Cass and Rusev. What else? And, you know, they did add a match on the show between Cesaro and Sheamus versus the New Day. So, and they had, like, you know, the advancement with the Cruiserweight. So they did have some storyline advancement, but not a lot of storyline advancement. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe down below and subscribe to my CM Brothers or No One the Talkinator channel. And subscribe to my all the other YouTube channels down below. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.